Hello there, how are you today? I want to thank you for coming in, and again, welcome to Dr. Fredericks' show. It's a very special episode here today. We are bringing to you something that is really crucial, given the nature of the times in which we live. So today we're bringing you a special guest who is going to tell us some things that we really need to take note of. So without further ado, help me and join me to welcome George Osewe, who is the Vice President of AO International. Welcome, George.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, and we also have Chima on the team also, who is the President of Karachain International Group. And I want to welcome you also.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Fredericks.
Yes. So we have something that I described. When I listened to George Osewe, who's the VP of AO International, I call this a clarion call. That's what I call it, based on my perception. But he is right here, so we're not going to do third-party stuff. He's going to be the one to say what those things are. You can call it what you want, but I call it clarion call. So right now, I'm just going to begin by asking George Osewe exactly what brought you here today.
First of all, I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Dr. Frederick, and also Mr. Nwosu for giving us this opportunity to actually sell and market what we have to our brothers and sisters. What brought me here today? We are having a conference scheduled for the 31st, end of this month. That should be less than a week's time. And this conference, we call it the African Diaspora Business Financing Forum. That actually is the first of its kind here in Durham and in North Carolina in general. We are expecting ambassadors, from different countries, and definitely they're embracing this idea because, as we say, the African population is here in North Carolina. We want them to know that there are a lot of business opportunities, financial opportunities, and otherwise. If I compare that with the Latino community, because that's basically what we measure ourselves to, they have a lot of, if we say that we're trying to replicate that system where they have their cooperative Latino in Durham, and most of them actually get a lot of advantages from there, but while we Africans, we don't. So we are not saying we cannot have it, but this is the beginning. So I will say everybody should come down to this event, especially people who have small businesses, large businesses, or people who are intending to have businesses, whether here, but mostly here in the United States because already you're here. So you're here, you're an American, you're here. So this is where is an opportunity to come and get these services and get information.
Wow. Well, as I listen to George Osewe, I am not a micromanager. I'm not. So I'm looking at a certain picture, and what I am picturing when he says that there's going to be an event, when I hear that word, something triggers. There's going to be an event, and he says he wants everybody to come. And he made some critical comments. Now, what crossed my mind is this. Chima, your MBA is in, of course, I know that you did engineering at master's degree level, but I want to tap into your MBA in project management. Your MBA is in project management, and your doctoral study is also in project management. So what the VP of AO International has said here sounds to me like a project. An event's a project that has an objective.
Correct.
It has a starting, it has an ending.
Yes.
There are deliverables, and there are expected outcomes. That's your terrain. So, what crossed your mind when he was making those explanations?
Well, the intention of every entrepreneur or intending entrepreneur will be to know exactly what resources are out there, more especially in financial resources. So it may be an opportunity to know exactly what is available from whom. So there are various things that can kill a business, finance is one of them. But most importantly, planning, good planning will help a business, and information about resources that will help the business is what every business craves for. Now, Mr. Sewe seems to bring that to the table.
Yeah. So is there any question that you want to ask him on that? Because I have tons of questions here because I can't even wait to ask.
Yeah, one of the things I would like to know is what kind of projects the organization, your organization, have helped, or what kind of business enterprises, whether it be as a business or project, will benefit from the information you will be providing.
Well, first of all, we want to let you know that we are working in different parts of Africa right now. We are working in the west part of Africa, we are working in East Africa, we are also working in central part of Africa. What we've also realized is a large number of youth. You know, in most African countries, youth is 60%. And I'll give you an example of Kenya because I'm quite much conversant with that. They've allocated 60% of their natural resources, I mean the country's resources, to the youth. So what they're encouraging the youth to establish their own businesses and start their own businesses. In the sense that at this point, if you measure that also with the youth of the United States, they're not permanent jobs anymore. And I don't know, maybe you could correct me.
You're right.
You know, and what if you could be creative, especially in this economy, then you live, you survive, okay? So if you do that, then you're a winner. That is why we are setting this in collaboration and in correspondence with what we call the reality on the ground. So you come down with a small business, whether you want to finance whatever it is, whether you want to start, just be creative. So the financial institutions will be available here to tackle your questions and also to lead you where to go, whereby there'll be information, there'll be communication, and et cetera, et cetera. So what we need to do, if you come there, and I'm telling you, my brothers and sisters, come there en masse, because that is the only way they will know that we have the economic power. And that is the only way also that will enable you to move forward from your next step. And just to add on, I know everybody watching or listening to this, you have something in your mind, I want to start this, I want to start this, I want to start this. They are very good ideas, let's accept that. But with no capital, you cannot move. And at some point, if you walk to a bank as an individual to ask, they'll tell you, we don't know. So this is the opportunity to come and get this package and be educated on this and take advantage of the opportunity of this.
Yeah, if I may jump in, you know, there are various opportunities. We hear about opportunities available here and in other parts of the world. I want to find out, you know, the kind of framework. You may not have answers, but the average people, I've talked to a lot of investors, small businesses, about what their needs are. You have discovered that here you hear about the president trying to make American exports more competitive. And there are various organizations here in the US that promote exports to the US. But one of the problems is that the other countries, more especially in sub-Saharan Africa, who possibly may benefit from such a framework, you know, are not really, there's not an alignment. So I'm just expressing this. This is one of the areas most of the entrepreneurs I've spoken to. That's one of their concerns, that their initiatives, creativity, you know, meet with red tape, bureaucracy here in the US and even across their country. because most of them look forward to a situation where they will be part of the economy, where they will be creating jobs here, So those are some of the things I would like to have addressed during the, you may have answers, but those are some of the concerns people I've spoken with have.
And you're right, definitely. This is why we are holding this. You come on there, you get all the answers. I guarantee you that. You might not be 100%, but it could be 99%. Because if I ask anybody, all these are things are going into your mind. Where can you get this information? Most of us have attended what we call elitist groups like World Bank, Business Forum. Not everybody can go there. Sometimes you're called down in New York, African Union and all this. How many people actually go there? Very few people. So our concept was to devolve this, bring this to the grassroots. We call it the grassroots, where the real economic builders are. Okay? So we got that concept, and that's why we have like different banks. Wells Fargo will be there, Capital Bank, credit unions. And then you can ask all these questions, and I'm sure by the time you walk out of this, you'll be glad you did. You definitely will be glad you did. So I'm encouraging people to come en masse, and I can't stress this point enough, because opportunity not once, and we regard this as an opportunity to get these people together down and answer your questions and give you a way forward. Now, people normally say, and this is also true, that if you try to get some loan somewhere and all this, what people need to know, this is a global village now, and that is a fact. The White House also actually encourages through President Obama's administration that small business are the ones that build the economy. And they are taking those red tapes you're talking about, they're out and all this. These people have that information. Okay? So it is not impossible. So my brothers and sisters, come out. Let's do this. And you'll never regret this chance.
This sounds, this is direct. The Vice President of NU International says the diaspora community, right?
Yes, sir.
So there are so many events going on, but this particular event on March 31st, he is saying that this is strictly for the African, right?
Absolutely.
African-owned businesses. So which means to me that if you are an African, and if you own a business, and you operate your business within this general area, North Carolina, people can come from out of state.
People are coming out of state. Actually, we have people coming from Florida. We have people coming from New Jersey. We have
That is African entrepreneurs.
African entrepreneurs.
So which means, as an African entrepreneur, wherever you are, which means you can even make a phone call to your friend, your relative, who is out of state, to tell them what's going on here, because this is an African development initiative here. So, Mr. George Osewe, you are guaranteeing that people will walk away with information and knowledge.
I guarantee you that. And of course, I'm only saying that if you don't make it to that once a life opportunity, then we don't know where you're going to get information. You might, but you might do it, but in a very hard way. But this is the easiest way to get this information. And I'm sure once you come down and walk away, this will be a life-changing experience. I guarantee you that.
Well, what do you want to say?
Well, I'm trying to picture, a scenario where one walks in, gets their questions answered, and be able to use the knowledge to improve their businesses, employ more people, and do the things that they want to do as individuals and as businesses. So I'm trying to picture that. I know of businesses that are interested in the energy sector, like solar energy projects, services, medical services, and a lot of Nigerian businesses are involved in those areas. And I know of Kenyans, Cameroonians who are in the automobile industry. I mean, these are areas that people will be able to benefit if you'll be able to provide them the information that will help them.
Absolutely, absolutely, and more. Now that we also, most of the world is going green, green economy, and these are areas that are quite untapped. And this gives you a reason to calm down. You see, brothers and sisters, Africans are very smart people, and I'm not shying away to say that. They come up with ideas, but the ideas get circumvented by other people simply because they don't know where to get finances to support that idea. And you have to agree with me, idea alone is not enough. It has to be backed by finance. And where do you get finance? You go to the banks, get finance. Once you have that idea, they will support that idea. Okay? So, get your ideas. Calm down. We are entitled to this economy like anybody else. Latino brothers and sisters are doing it. Why not we? We can do it.
Well, when anybody says anything and mentions finance, I will listen because I want to know what they're talking about when they mention the word finance. So that word is being mentioned here. We're going to go on just a short break. Don't go away because we are going to ask George Osewe, the VP of AU International, we're going to ask him some even more critical, incisive questions today. Because the way he's coming out, he says, I guarantee you need information, we're going to get information, so I am not going to let go of any opportunity. So don't go away, we'll be right back. Yeah, thank you very much for still being there. We know that what we're talking about today is a critical topic and everybody enjoys this topic and it's very, very useful to everybody. So we are pleased to say that we have Bob Robinson, who is the Executive Director here, in our midst. He is going to also lend his weight to this discussion. So, Bob, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Now, we have spoken with George, who is the Vice President of AU International, and he has made some very strong comments here, which are really, really encouraging. And I would like to ask you, Bob, this event of March 31st,
Yes.
how can you put your weight behind this to convey the invitation to members of the African business community in this area?
Very good. First of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity. It's important as the Executive Director of the Raleigh Business and Technology Center to make sure that the public knows what our job is in the community. The City of Raleigh, Durham County, a number of entities throughout the state are focused on the seriousness of where we are with regard to the state of our economic life in the state of North Carolina. What we are doing at the scale where we are working is we want to make sure that we have the full opportunity to bring resources to the entire community. Specifically on this approach on March 31st, our goal is to make sure that the local business owners understand how to deal with some of the economic issues surrounding being in business. And being in business today means dealing with your business from a sustainable programming perspective. Now, the Raleigh Business and Technology Center has been here since 2000, and our focus has always been on community economic development. Today, we are involved because we have been able to connect some of the local business resources, ranging from commercial banks to the credit unions, making sure that they all and we all understand the proper techniques to bring SBA and other external resources directly into the African business community. It's important for everyone listening to pay attention, particularly if you are interested in obtaining new contracts. Once you get new contracts, you're going to need to expand your capital because you're going to need to hire new people. In order to mobilize, in order to pay your payroll, it requires additional capital. The financing community that we're touching understands that business model. Therefore, on March 31st, it makes all the sense in the world for everyone to be paying attention.
This is as direct as it can be. Now we've been listening and talking. We're listening to and talking with George Osewe, who is the Vice President of AU International. But the tone has also kind of changed. Stronger, more encouraging also from the Executive Director of RBTC, telling you in plain language the same things that the Vice President of AU International said. You just have to come out and seize this opportunity. If the RBTC has been here for all these years and the ED is talking about your own chance of finding out how to get the new contracts, and of course when you get the contracts you need to expand I listen to him, you need to expand your capital base to be able to execute on these contracts. And now they are bringing to you an occasion, an event that will give you the window into these opportunities. I don't think that any entrepreneur who wants to grow can pass on this. So VP, add something to what Bob has said.
Well, Bob has said everything, and probably if I have to add on, I just have to reiterate what Bob has said. Small businesses in the United States play a vital role in our economy, and this includes businesses that are owned by Africans. Okay, I said earlier that President Obama's administration has launched several initiatives to assist entrepreneurs, and especially in a startup. It's called Startup America, reducing barriers, and the new market exporter initiative. Excuse me. So what Bob has said, I'm just enhancing that part, but he said everything. And I go back to my plea to African community. I'm not excluding anybody, including the Caribbeans. We are all Africans. Come on down there, take the opportunity to either retain your business, start new one, or expand. That's what I can tell you. Please respond so that the financial institutions in the triangle can also know our economic power.
Yes.
Yes, I feel so excited because during the break, I was able to speak with Mr. Osewe. I was very excited about the people who will be coming. There's representation from World Bank and other organizations. So that will be added help to businesses within this area. It makes sense to be able to speak with the people who are into making your business grow, the people who make policies. So I am hoping that this conference coming up will be an input that will help participating businesses gain a stronger footing in these slippery economic times. Thank you, Mr. Robertson of the RBTC.
Thank you.
The RBTC has been tremendously helpful to a lot of people I know and to my humble self. And I cannot thank you enough, and I cannot thank the RBTC, Raleigh Business and Technology Center, enough.
Well,
Thank you, Jim.
what else do we want to hear? That there are testimonials already coming out. So if people can say that the Raleigh Business and Technology Center has been useful and helpful, then that brings to mind the presentation that Mr. Robinson made, the ED of RBTC made to this same community about RBTC. Now I'm going to challenge you. Have you been able to go to the RBTC to find out what was explained? Now, I'm going to say if you haven't gone to RBTC to find out how this organization can be helpful to your business, you better do that now, probably before the 31st of March. And in addition to that, the RBTC, with the able leadership of the Executive Director, Mr. Robinson, joining hands with AO International, am I right?
Absolutely.
To bring to you an opportunity. Let me say something here. Even those of us in the media, all right, it's a business. Now, I'm not going to be shy about it. I remember when I was an intern reporter with WB22 on Highwood Boulevard. I covered the FAO director from United Nations.
Yes.
I covered in Clayton, Johnson County, even before Sheriff Bizzle became the county sheriff, you know. So I know that even in the media, we need help. So what I'm hearing, even though I'm bringing information to you and introducing you to the VP and the ED of these two different organizations, I am still saying that even people like us in our own branch of the media can benefit from this. And you don't expect me to tell you about this, and I'm not going to be there to see how our media organization can grow and be even more useful to you. So the point I'm making is this, that Mr. George Osewe, who is the Vice President of AO International, and Mr. Bob Robinson, who is the Executive Director of Raleigh Business and Technology Center, they have cut it neat and dry that if we do not seize this opportunity, like he said, when and where are we going to find it? And we are not going to leave any stone unturned, because your business already pays tax. You already have some employees that you're paying. And times are hard. Some of you are in medical equipment and supplies. Some of you are in home health. Some of you are consultants. Some of you are in human resource and negotiations, staffing, janitorial, all kinds of things. This is the time. Like Mr. Osewe says, in quotes, I cannot say it enough. But you see, sometimes we are told that repetition is the mother of retention. So VP, can you just repeat? I want them to hear one more time that you are saying that they are going to find information pertaining to finance. You know, when somebody mentions the word finance, I listen. So now one more time.
Absolutely. In this economy, you must be creative. In this economy, you want to achieve working by yourself somehow. And this great country offers that opportunity. The reason why this country is stronger economically, they welcome people's ideas, creativity, and is supported by finance. The old adage says, and I quote, information is power, unquote. That is true. Come and get this information, then sky will be the limit. And again, I'm not restricting this to only Africans. We have African Americans. We have Caribbeans. African Americans, Caribbeans, we can get this and do business anywhere so that we can work together. Even if it's not on social issues, let's work together economically. This calls for creativity, and it is now, not tomorrow. Come en masse. I repeat, we must come en masse to show the community, to show the financial community, because they don't know until we do it, that we also an economic part to reckon, because we are. It's all that we lack a platform to do that. But come on and get this. And what do I call liberation? This will be liberation. That's what I can say.
Yes, I remember also hearing about a woman who is the director of transparency and some top arm of the United Nations. And that woman happens to be a Nigerian. So I was duly informed that she will be at that event. And I've also heard that some ambassadors will be coming. I think that events like this cost money. You don't just do an event, it costs money. So how are you able to, to two of you, Mr. Robinson and Mr. Sewe, how are you able to pull off this event?
I believe that first you have to prioritize. What is important in this day and time? In order to get past the rhetoric of only hearing about we need jobs, you have to eventually get to a point where you're focused on solutions for creating jobs. In order to create a job, you have to have a business, an employer. And in order for the employer to need a job, the employer must establish a contract. In our case, it was very important for us to connect not only the job that's being created ultimately, but to be in a position where we could see technical assistance being provided, which is largely in part what the Raleigh Business and Technology Center does. And we are in fact supported by the Institute for Minority Economic Development. Now, the Institute for Minority Economic Development is one of the sponsors for this event. The principal of that is Mrs. Andrea Harris. Now, Ms. Harris is key to part of this equation because not only as a sponsor, but for someone who provides direct support and knowledge to the North Carolina General Assembly, it makes all this sense in the world for us to understand how to think and participate with a much larger organization than a single business incubator such as the Raleigh Business and Technology Center. Our planning has to be aligned with the city of Raleigh, has to be aligned with Wake County. It should be aligned with all of the major economic development entities that serve our interests statewide. And our interest is for our citizens in our community to be able to one day obtain a job after they complete certain business acumen or prepare themselves to become an employee or an entrepreneur. Whichever track one goes or pursues, we want to make sure that North Carolinians, no matter what racial persuasion, has the opportunity to step out on good faith using the skills and capabilities to take care of one's family. So we're focused on the bare necessities of life at this point. When a business says, okay, I want to move forward, we're looking at business and finance, communications and marketing, human resources, contract administration. We're paying attention to all of those technical assistance pieces. And as a result of this conference on March 31st, a lot of those type of support services are going to be introduced. And they're going to be shared with the African public. They're going to be shared with, hopefully, the constituents of those businesses so that they understand from a comprehensive standpoint that there is nothing static about community economic development. You have to engage, you have to modify your business in order for it to continue to add traction so that your business can grow. And for us, it's very important. We spend a great deal of our time and energy developing systems to make sure that all of the businesses that we're affiliated with fits that particular model.
Well, as you were speaking, I began to think about the categories of members of our community who are visionaries. Some of them engage, use the word engage. Some of them engage from the point of view of non-profit activities, and some go out for the kill, if you know what I mean. All right. So is there anything in this entire package, I mean the plan, the event, the information that's going to be released, is there anything for the non-profit sector? Anything?
I would say that it's important for the nonprofit sector to understand all of what the for-profit sector understands. Today, you cannot afford to be ignorant in any strata related to sustainability. Nonprofits must run their business just like a for-profit. No one can afford to lose money. No one can afford not to pay attention to outcomes, deliverables. It leads to profitability for a nonprofit. It's not the same. It's a two separate business entity. But be advised that nonprofits deal with businesses all of the time. And if they're not, they're probably not going to be able to sustain themselves.
That is exactly why I asked the question. Because you can go, oh, well, we are a non-profit organization, but the ED of RBTC has put it out, completely, that if you are a non-profit organization and you are not dealing with businesses that are going for profit, then where will your donations come from? The meaning is that this event of March 31st is also for you. As a non-profit organization, if you hear that entrepreneurs are meeting somewhere, you should dust your briefcase and pull your business cards and go there and listen. That's just what you say. Now listen to what they are listening to. So when you get yourself on that frequency, then you will be able to operate more successfully. So do you have any question for them also?
Not at this point. I'm trying to find out ways that the conference can present what is going to happen to a wider audience. And I'm looking at a situation where, even though we are talking about the African diaspora community, that the event will be open to anyone who wants to attend. It's not, no one is excluded, even though from what I'm hearing is that the event is geared towards a particular segment of the economy who might not have been able to take full advantage of the resources available. But then everyone is invited. If that's what I'm hearing, am I hearing correctly?
Definitely correct, yes.
So what obligations will the attendees have towards this event? Any obligations?
Yes, and thanks for bringing that up. What we are doing right now, if you have the email, we are paying, you could pay and register in the internet with $50. If you do that, I think we said March 25th, which tomorrow is the last day, you still have time. And if you're a student, you can pay $25, but we'll require student identification on site once you get to the site. So spaces are limited, so try and go register on the site, and that site is attached to, excuse me, I think I have it here.
Yes.
Right here, I think. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, you will make it available.
We'll make it available to you,
Yes.
where people can just go down there and register, And if maybe you get that, do it today. Do it now. Because when you come to the actual day on the entrance, it's going to be $60. So who doesn't want to save $10? I now want to save every dollar that I have.
Exactly.
Okay. So those are the conditions of that.
Well, talking about that kind of money, I personally believe that anyone who calls himself an entrepreneur can blow up that kind of amount at any restaurant in a heartbeat. And it goes down the drain. But to build your knowledge base, to walk in the door and shake hands with the people who have the information you need. Because keep in mind now that if you went to, let's just say, self-help credit union, even with your business plan in your hand, you are not going to see the manager. You will not. But from the way I understand this event, it's if ambassadors are coming, if the vice president of Asia International is going to be there, if the executive director of Raleigh Business and Technology Center is going to be there, then you will shake hands with those who know. That is as close as we want to get first. First base, if you want. And if you cannot make first base, are you going to make anything at all? I don't think so. So I strongly believe that those of you who have been calling this show and who have been stopping me somewhere at the stores, the post office, because I go everywhere also like everybody else, you cannot stop me and waste my precious time without seizing this opportunity that we are making efforts to bring to you, especially if the executive director of Raleigh Business and Technology Center will volunteer his time, if the vice president of International will volunteer his time, because they could be doing something else at this time, but they left whatsoever they should be doing to sit down and talk to you. I mean, even though you are telling them something that be useful to them, or you are telling us what should be useful to us, you even sound like you are trying to motivate us to come. And let me tell you something. There's something called psychological aggressiveness. This is the time to have it. When we are hearing that the government is even removing obstacles and removing red tapes and even providing information, that is the time to develop that mental and psychological aggressiveness in business and pursue the piece of information that will help you take it to the next level. But don't go away. Just we'll be right back. 1 second, okay? Don't go away. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for still being there. And we are talking to Mr. George Osewe, who is the Vice President of Enyo International, bringing us a major event where people will find information pertaining to financing for their businesses in this area. So right now, we are curious to know who else is coming. We want to know. I know you want to know. So I'm going to ask the Vice President. Is the president of your organization coming that day?
Yes, Grace Zizinho is coming. Very dedicated, passion for Africa. And she's done quite a number of things. We also organized in 2007 what we call Women in Action, creating a sustainable Africa at that time. The current Prime Minister of Kenya attended, and we got very good feedback in terms of what the steps we put down, especially for an African woman to sustain for herself. As we always say, this is a turning point for us, especially in this business. We have dignitaries coming, and Representative Larry Wambo of Forsyth County, who is a great supporter of businesses, especially the African diaspora. He's been going to Kenya for the last 20 years. So he's coming to brace this occasion. He's going to give a welcoming speech in the morning. We have a lady, our sister from Nigeria, working at the United Nations. Her name is Olajabi Makinwa. All right? She is the Director of Global Impact at the United Nations. She is coming to brace the occasion. And we have Kenyan Ambassador to the United States, Ambassador Elkanah Odembo, who will be moderating this. He's also confirmed that he's coming. And we are working on other ambassadors who will accompany him. So we will have dignitaries into this because they're seeing the importance of this. And how else can you help your people other than information, especially regarding finance? So Dr. Frederick, we have dignitaries addressing this occasion, and everybody will be there.
Wow.
Yes.
I recognized a name from that list. Olajobi Makinwa. Would you say you don't know that name? She is a top dignitary with the United Nations. That she is going to be there. And if all you do is show up and shake hands and encourage her in the work she's doing, she is responsible for transparency, honesty, and accountability. That's what she does with the United Nations. And that is in addition to getting information about financing for your enterprise. Ambassadors coming, top dignitaries coming. We know that such people don't come out in vain. They don't waste their time. So if they are coming, it means that it is a very viable event. So let's just say somebody comes up to you that day, VP, to talk to you about, just shake hands, get to know you and all that. Just small talk. And you are standing face to face with this stranger. But the stranger probably has distribution business. Let's just say food distribution business. And this stranger needs a store and warehouse for his distribution business. And this stranger, this is, hypothesis here, he would like to get hold of financing for his warehouse and his store so he can have a retail outlet and have the warehouse for further distribution. When you are shaking hands with somebody and you find out that that's what his own state is, what little small talk are you going to do with him that he can go home with?
Well, Dr. Frederick, first of all, I think what you're saying, we should not even put it, as you say, as an hypothesis.
Hypothesis.
This is real. Remember, network, network, network.
Three magic words.
Three magic words.
Yes.
Once you get there, everybody's there. Okay? The finance part is a major thing. But who knows? This can also be your customer for what you're supplying or anything. Nobody knows. The only way to know is to be there. Once you're there, maybe you'll walk in with a dime in your pocket and live with $1 million in your pocket. It will be done, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So, Dr. Ferry, what you're saying, in this current world, this is a global village. And global village means networking. Today, I come and know a brother from Nigeria who will say, oh, by the way, this solar thing, I know where to find this from, and I know who can finance this. Or, I know where to find this from, but I don't know the finance. Now, the finance people are right there. Wells Fargo Bank, Capital One, and other technical assistant people will be there. So what else can you ask if you come down from 7:30 until 12:30? Remember, there's also breakfast, so don't worry about breakfast. There'll be 7:30 and there's going to be continental breakfast. But the most important thing is the networking part of it. It is great. So come on, what Dr. Frederick is saying is not an hypothesis, it's reality.
So I was even saying that when we go to a restaurant, we will spend what it will take us to pay to get to this event, right?
Absolutely.
But I'm just hearing about continental breakfast, which wipes out even the worry about paying to go in. You know, and the way we do our things, if we know something that is valuable, we even make donations to it. That's the way we do things. We donate to things that are valuable. So this could be just one of those. And I just cannot get over this feeling that the VP of AU International says network, network, network. Let me tell you something. Today, put your business cards together. Today, prepare your 1-page, 2 paragraphs business profile. And prepare a summary and sketch of your business, not the business plan, but your business plan, sketch or summary. Hold on to these 3 items with a smile on your face. Shake hands. Let your briefcase contain multiple copies of these items. Network, network, network. The VP says that the technical assistance guy may be sitting right next to you. The finance guy may be sitting right next to you. This is the make it or break it. Am I right?
You're right about that. You, again, make this. There's always what they say in all the day, your life going back to what the wise said, because it's a reflection of reality in today's life. The only time you do not fail is the last time you try. Please come and try this, your last time, so you don't fail. Come open your dreams. Come start a future. Look at this economy. I can't say enough. Look at this economy. There are no permanent jobs anymore. And if they are, it's just a matter of time that they won't be. The post office people used to think is permanent, is not. So if that can go down, anything can go down. And if I talk to you, everybody here, they have a story to tell. I once used to work at here. I lost my job. I don't have insurance anymore. I don't know what to do. I'm just here. Remember, even if you're on unemployment, 12 months you're out of it. So this is the time you come for it. Come and network. Come and mingle with the dignitaries. Come and mingle with the high and mighty, because you will be one of them by the time you leave there.
And we've also learned here that, of course I know it's true because it happened. In 2007, this same organization put together a program they called Women in Action. And the sub-theme was creating a sustainable Africa. You know, some of you are even car dealers. You buy cars, you containerize those cars, you ship them to Africa. You have car dealership in Africa somewhere. You have school somewhere in Africa. You want to engage in a sustainable business here so that you can continue with those Africa initiatives. And of course, when you talk to AU International, they will even give you more ideas regarding how to do those initiatives. But this is the brick and mortar to lay your foundation right here. Well, any final comments, Mr. Osewe?
Well, first of all, I want to let you know that AU International is a Durham-based business.
Local,
Durham-based business. We've been involved in consultancy, especially on economic sustainable projects. We have experts. Whether you want to do solar, whether you want to do farming, agricultural products, whether you want to do capital markets, whichever you want to do, we will guide you and we will consult and give you an array of anything you want to do. But most importantly, that's why we're organizing this event titled The African Diaspora Business Financing. And this is the first time it's coming to Durham, North Carolina. As a matter of fact, this is the first time it's coming to the state of North Carolina. Let me put it that way. Okay? Since we've had a lot of influx of inquiries, okay? How do we get this? How do we get this? How do we get this? So we took it from our perspective, both political and economic angle, and talked to the financiers. What did they ask us? Do you have African businesses here? We say, plenty. But how do you know? By you coming out to show them that you're here. So they start listening to you. And I always tell the African community, look at the Latino brothers and sisters. They have done it. We will do it, and we can do it. So as to be acknowledged here, be recognized, and be appreciated. So please come down. It's going to be at Radisson Hotel in Research Triangle Park. We will give you the address there in time.
Yeah, you'll get it.
And when you come down at 7:30 in the morning to 8:45, there'll be breakfast and registration. And it's continental breakfast. So that will be taken care of. We will feed you. Okay? We are begging you to come and get information and get advancement of your life. So please show up en masse so that we can tell the financial institutions that we also are a force to reckon with, and then we can ease the burden on our families, both here and at home. You know how we do. Send money, without realizing that we need our lives here too. So if you have something sustainable, then you don't have to run to Western Union all the time. Or if you do go there, it's just going to be a walk in the park. So please turn up en masse, respond. If you want to start a business, that's a place to be. If you want to retain your business, that's a place to be. If you want to expand your business, that is the place to be. So again, this is on March the 31st, 2011, the last day of the month. It's going to be on a Thursday. Be there on time. If you register online, it's $50. And we have that until tomorrow. So we still have time. You can go register online. If you're a student, it's $25. However, identification will be required when you get down to Research Triangle Park upon, entrance down. But if you don't pay by the internet, you come down, you're going to pay $60 at the door. So if I'm you, pay $50 so you can save you $10. And that will be appreciated. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you there.
Well, on a final note, the African Diaspora Business Financing Forum comes to Durham, North Carolina, March 31st. I want to thank Mr. George Osewe.
Thank you very much, Dr.
For coming, bringing us this information at this event. We will be there, and people will be there, so that we can build this community, all right, with the support that you are bringing that day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you. I'll see you again some other time.